What's up, guys? Patch here, 1878 Casuals. Unbelievably frustrating match. Willie, what'd you make of it?
God, it just shows we're not there yet. I agree with it. We're not a deep team. We have McTominay, who is suspended today. Eriksen not fully fit, so we have to put in Fred. Fred was obviously a hole in the midfield today. Lost the ball a few times, was not able to control the ball, not able to control the game at all. So we ended up not being deep enough. Same thing up front. We have Ronaldo up front, who was a little too slow on a few chances. Obviously, when Rashford came in, that changed a lot. He shows you that he has the pace, he has the skill to be a centre forward for United. I think if they brought in Rashford sooner, or if Rashford has started, but we have to pace ourselves. This would be seen as the weakest team to play this week. We got Spurs on Wednesday, we got Chelsea on the weekend, so I would probably think he's saving certain players, probably Eriksen, and saving Rashford for the game in the week and the game in the weekends, which would be seen as much tougher opponents. But if we can, if we do not have the people to beat a Newcastle with our second choices in midfield and our second choices up front, then we are not there yet. We are definitely not there. We need to buy at least 3 more players. We need another midfielder, and we definitely need another striker.
Well, it's kind of worrying today that we kind of Newcastle exposed how badly we need a creative player, and when you don't have Eriksen in the squad, it's kind of, you almost, I would argue possibly that you revert back to the kind of United of the last couple years, where it's like if you're playing against a team sitting in a low block, compact, all the men behind the ball, you can unlock them, and that's what we were clearly struggling with today. But to be fair, Newcastle has conceded the least amount of goals in the league. It was hard enough for us to score a couple against Everton, and they're very good defensively as well. So, you get a team like Newcastle, we just lack creativity today, ultimately, I think.
I think we got enough balls in the box. We did.
Were they quality balls, though?
If Ronaldo was the old Ronaldo, if he had a little bit more pace, I think he could have scored a couple today. We obviously had that Rashford header that was in the end. That should have been a goal. Fred got a couple of shots in front of the goal. So did we create enough chances? Probably create enough chances. I think any other time, if we had our starting 11, we probably would have won that game. So, in that sense, you could take something positive from the game, that we are a better team than Newcastle.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just think that our problem the last couple years has been, like I said, being able to unlock those defensive teams. And Anthony played well for me. He was at least throwing some crosses in there and stuff like that. They weren't super quality, though. They were kind of like, you're hitting the first man. It's not like it was looping over some heads and stuff like that. But man, that Rashford chance at the end there, that was the one.
One thing is obvious. Anthony does not have a right foot.
Right.
He takes the ball to the byline and crosses the worst cross.
And that's what you got to figure. The gaffer of the teams we're playing is like, hey, make him go right, because he doesn't have a right foot.
Yeah, and they played him well today. They kept pushing him out to the right, kept pushing him on his right foot, and then he was not delivering the kind of crosses. So he can't be that easy to defend. And I think he's going to be found out as we go forward. Right.
You hope that he, and you got to figure, especially being the young lad that he is, that, he adapts his game and he listens to what Ten Hag's telling him. Because, Ten Hag is keyed in on this point, as, kind of a weak part of his game, and is saying, hey, you're going to need to, change it up a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I mean, then we have to design the passes. We have to design, the plays to force him then to be on the inside. I thought Sancho, particularly in the first half, he was bringing the ball in each time, putting the defenders on their heels. So I saw a little bit from Sancho today, but I didn't see enough. He is not fast enough.
I agree. Yeah. Who was your man of the match? I think for me it was a tough call.
I mean, in a game like that, it's hard to pick a man of the match. For me, I liked Luke Shaw. I thought Luke Shaw was completely solid in the back. Going forward, his passes were great. I'm a huge fan of Luke Shaw, and I'm so happy that he's on form, because he is an essential part of this team going forward.
Yeah, he's looking fit fit Luke Shaw. Who knows what'll happen? All right, guys. Patch 1878 Casuals here with Willie from O'Brien's out in Santa Monica. If you haven't been, come on down and check it out. Proper pub. That's it for today. Up the Reds. Ratcliffe in. Glazers out.
Yo, what's up? Bandito Mike. I got my main homie face right here. Reaction to the shit show that is the 0-0 draw with Newcastle. Face, what are we saying?
I just felt like we didn't take over the game. We didn't even try to. We played into their hands. Shows how valuable Eriksen is.
Eriksen, yes. No one pulling the strings. No deep line.
No one. He cleans up so much of our mess. I thought we were average today. We didn't have too many ideas. It was either getting out to Anthony and he goes to the left, which is fine, but it can't be. We have to have other options. We did not. We weren't a threat at all, attacking, and that's a waste. That's a waste. With Cristiano, with Rashford, Sancho, we have to figure out something to do. So it was a dead game.
Yeah, we talked about last time being more clinical in our finishes, and we had 2 clear shots at it, and we got 0 goals out of that.
Yeah.
So when you're wasteful like that, you're not going to take away the points.
Right.
Yeah, and then Fred.
I
A
don't.
lot of giveaways with the ball, and
It's amazing how much the ball finds Fred too.
yeah, with Casemiro, Fred, you would think one would play higher, but yeah, Fred's got to be on the ball. That's the role of a midfielder, and he's giving the ball away a lot, and that's another thing. Newcastle had every man back behind the ball, right?
Yes, they were.
And,
They
very
were.
compact and very narrow, and so that means all your attacking is got to come out from wide, and we weren't able to do that. We weren't able to switch the ball quickly
No, not quick enough.
to find the spaces.
True
It was
that.
taking 3 or 4 passes to get the ball wide, and by then they had already shifted over. So it's disappointing. United is going to face these low block teams, and there's got to be a way to figure these out. We did go to the 3-1-6, and that's worked against Everton. But when the ball was played back, recycled, Everton they pressed, and Newcastle didn't at the end of the match. They were happy with the 1 point.
Yeah.
So if they're not going to press, then you're going to have to find creative ways to go out wide and then cross the ball in. How Rashford missing a really good chance there with the header. Disappointing.
Yeah, chance. It was a chance wasted. Shows our depth issues. Not having McTominay or Eriksen, we're not deep, and we're not creative enough, and we played into their hands.
Yeah, I mean, what's the other option? I mean,
No.
it's very romantic to say put in Iqbal or put in
Right,
Kobe
but-
Mainoo, but to put a young player in a pressure situation,
They
like
could get
that,
overran.
Yeah, is a difficult one. So again, it just shows it's a process, and we ain't there yet. But as long as there is a process that you can see improvement and a style of play, we're gonna have these matches. So we're not flying high yet, but
No, we're not. Nowhere by no means. But it's good to know your defense is good.
Yeah, organized. Licha getting stuck in.
Is there a man of a match?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Casemiro played well, I thought.
No one took the game though.
No one took the game by the scruff of the neck and made it their own, and that's unfortunate for us.
All right. Well, this has been Bandito and Face. We're out.